According to the United Nations, more than half of young people, 617 million people worldwide, are not meeting minimum proficiency standards in reading and mathematics. Many times, this is a result of inadequately trained teachers, poor conditions in schools, and equity issues. For example, girls being not allowed to go to school. This has many negative impacts upon these communities. The first issue that I'm going to talk about is the lack of quality employment for these people. The only employment that these people can get is that which does not require literacy and numeracy. This is often informal employment, employment that is not regulated or protected by the government. In these types of employment situations, people often get exploited. These jobs have poor rights at work, poor pay, and poor working conditions. This is why education is so important. With education, people can learn basic literacy and numeracy and obtain formal employment for themselves. As a result, people can gain stable accommodation, food, travel, healthcare, and many more necessities. The problem that comes as a result of lack of education is people's lack of voice in a global community. Technology is currently becoming more and more available. In 19 developing countries surveyed, it has been found that there is a steady increase in smartphone and internet use. 42% of people were using the internet in 2014 in these countries, and 64% were using internet in 2017. However, this access to internet is not useful without high levels of literacy and numeracy in these countries. By increasing people's literacy and numeracy levels, they are able to use these technologies to understand and write on social media and the internet, and therefore share their stories and their voice across the globe. Many positive effects. Firstly, people can use their voice to improve their situations. People with education will be able to share their stories and gain assistance from governments or organizations across the world that can help improve their situations. The impact is increasing global knowledge. More people across the world will be able to hear or read stories or create their own about their cultures and situations. A more globally connected world is a wiser world. Countries and communities can not make the same mistakes that other people have already made. Another problem that comes as a result of lack of education is sexual health and health problems. More than 1 million sexually transmitted infections, STIs, are acquired every day worldwide. Sometimes these STIs have long-term and serious reproductive health consequences, such as mother-to-child transmission, infertility, stillbirth, and even death. However, sex education has been proven to decrease these consequences. In Kenya, 6,000 students received sexuality education, and it was found that among these students there was a delayed sexual initiation and increased condom use compared to students who did not receive the education. In Uganda, sex education about contraception reduced HIV transmissions. Education is key to helping people live longer, happier, and healthier lives. I would like you to reflect, either by journaling, writing, or just thinking alone, on some of the questions that are going to be asked. Firstly, how can you get involved in the issue of global education? Ideas are donating to or volunteering for an organization that helps work towards global education, or taking full advantage of your education that you're lucky to have, or telling others about what you have learned in this video via social media or conversation. And lastly, by becoming more informed on these issues by researching alone online. Now I'll ask some more questions which you should reflect to on your own. Firstly, how does the education of a person across the world affect you? Secondly, has your worldview changed after learning this new information? And finally, does this change the way that you view your education? Deeply reflect on these questions, as these questions are key to developing your global perspective and global competence.